Hey, it is 9:30. It is time for the Friday Night Hangout. This is where we grab a brew and shoot the breeze. At the same time, interacting with you online here. Small panel tonight, Dog Days of August, but we'll have a good time with the reduced numbers anyway. Kerry is joining me from Cape Breton tonight, and he just cracked open there his Regatta Red, I believe, right?
No.
No?
Oh. I did. I got. Oh. Is it time? Is it that time yet?
No, not that time yet. I was just doing the tease.
All right.
All right. Well, we'll get everybody all settled in here. Just to give a quick intro for people who are just joining us for the first time, how this works. Basically, you can watch us here on Twitter, YouTube, Google Plus, and you can interact with us via that way, and then we'll check the comments a little later so that you can let us know how we're doing. And we're going to do a few comments there. Also, if you're watching us live, you can also use the slider to rewind, just like a PVR. There'll be a replay once the hangout is done, about 10-15 minutes later. And also, during the weekend, we will have the audio-only podcast version. Last week, the podcast version was a little bit more trouble to getting online. It did a few naughty things last time, so we finally got it up a little bit late, but at least it's there, and the whole episode's there. So for those who like to listen to the podcast version. Before we get started here, well, let's do the round of intros here. As I mentioned before, we get Kerry all the way out in Cape Breton, and he is enjoying, and we'll do what we're drinking also, since it's just the two of us, Kerry.
Okay.
What are you drinking tonight, Kerry?
I'm drinking, I had earlier a small glass of Regatta Red from Big Spruce. Now I have the Little Yapper, and it has in it the Hoppuccino.
Oh, the brand new beer with coffee and
the coffee IPA.
Mm-hmm. And how is that?
First sip, it's really, really hoppy. It's got some nice fresh hop smell to it, and but it's got a good color. But I can't taste any coffee yet, so.
Okay, well maybe in the second sip. I tend to remember it had a lot of, like 80 IBU, so it's really, really bitter, hoppy.
Yeah.
Probably killing your buds there. That's awesome. Of course, I'm here in Halifax tonight, and what I am drinking tonight is Garrison's Imperial IPA, a nice double IPA or Imperial IPA, 8% brew, so having that tonight. Garrison also has a couple new releases this week. They had their Lavender Honey Ale, which was hasn't been on shelves for the last couple of years, but it's back now at the brewery. And also they have their Tall Ship in Bomber format, which is their 650 milliliter bottle. What they said they were supposed to be at the NSLC stores, and I checked the website, and it seems it's stocked, but it's stocked in the back. It's not on the shelves. One of the things I don't like about the NSLC website, they tell you a beer's in stock, but it's actually in the back, and they don't tend to bring it out until like a week or two after. So that's the one frustrating thing dealing with the NSLC website. As we're getting a few people joining in here, we had a little comment here from on the website here from Bluefin, which we'll get to in a little bit. But as he gets settled there, just a reminder that you can reach us or reach me on the Twitter tonight. I'll be monitoring that. The reason why I get my head, if you're watching the video, I have 3 screens going on, so I am looking all over the place. Let's start with our first topic for the evening. And Kerry, let's talk about the Moose Sex project. Moose Sex project, they added more territory for the moose to traverse New Brunswick and Nova Scotia around the Amherst area, that little thin band that connects the two provinces together. They added a number of acreage to that to allow the migration of moose population from New Brunswick to come over to the Nova Scotia side, and they added about another couple 100 acres to that. Kerry, you're in Cape Breton. You have moose up there.
We have moose, but they're not local moose. If you didn't know that, they're imported. But either way, um, dwindling populations of our wild animals are always something that we should take heed of, because once they're all gone, they're gone. And and if they're promoting migration of these animals because of the encroachment of humans, then that's a good thing. We all know that New Brunswick the deaths and the accidents from moose are pretty high because of where they are, and it's just something that we have to learn to deal with.
Exactly, and Cape Breton being probably one of the few areas in Nova Scotia where there are, there's about where the moose population is at. There's a few areas around Kitchimacujik where there's just a few, but they say the estimates of moose is getting close to endangered species or endangered around 1,000 population. They say compared to New Brunswick, which is very healthy moose population. So yeah, anything to get them to migrate down the Trans-Canada Highway to come over to New Brunswick to come over there. I think it'll be good. Carrie, the moose that you have there, you said they weren't native there. Now I heard a story that they were actually imported from Alberta, from Banff or Jasper.
I think it was the northern Alberta that they came from, but I can't remember exactly. But they were. Once the population got so low, they did that, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's although the species isn't indigenous, it's still thriving. So
yeah. Well, okay. Well, that's always good.
And there's some big ones up there, and there's some big moose in New Brunswick too. And
oh yeah,
I've seen a few in Gagetown. So.
Oh yeah, no, they're big. They're big along the St. John River, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's, as we're getting people joining us tonight, just a reminder, you can interact with us via social media, Twitter, YouTube, Google+, and also on avoidingchores.com. Carrie's monitoring the comments on avoidingchores.com. I'm monitoring everywhere else, so we'll get your comments here momentarily. Just wanted to give a quick shout-out to Hell Bay Brewing in Liverpool, just to let you know that where can I get some Hell Bay? Well, they got about 20 taps in around Nova Scotia, the South Shore, around the Halifax area. So depending where you go to get your favorite suds, you will probably most likely find a Hell Bay tap somewhere. Privateers in Privateers Lane in Liverpool, restaurant, bed and breakfast. You can probably find their stuff there. And also North Brewing. They added a new tap at the auction house in downtown Halifax. So they have their Saison there, so you can try that out too. So, and North Brewing, they have close to about 30 taps, I believe. So since we're all talking about taps, tapping out that way. Let's move on to the next topic, which is Buddy McMaster died yesterday, I believe. Buddy McMaster, another example of Canadian cultural resource that died, and I have never heard of the fella. I've heard of his niece, Natalie McMaster, but I have never heard of Buddy McMaster. And I'm starting to think that my youth, growing up in Madawaska County, having Maine on one side and Quebec on the other, really shut me out on a lot of Canadian culture. Because it seems like there's quite a few of these stories, Carrie, where an author dies, a singer dies, and I've never heard of this person. But Buddy McMaster, he's from your neck of the woods in Cape Breton.
Well, he's from Abu, or up that way. So it's on the other side of the island. But I guess you have to be in the culture to understand the culture. He was pretty famous locally or in the region for his efforts to keep the Gaelic language and traditions going. So that's.
Yeah, it's true. He got the Order of Canada, and I was reading here, he also got the prestigious, there's a International Folk Award recognition for Lifetime Achievement, and he joined the company of Bob Dylan, Seeger and Stan Rogers also. So,
Yeah.
so as you said, he may not have heard of him, but he was big in the genre, that music genre that he was promoting, which was the Cape Breton fiddle, the fast and crisp fiddle music to get the toes tapping. Yeah, so I said his niece is Natalie McMaster, lives in Toronto now. So, oh, excuse me. So, I don't know. I don't. Other than CBC, I don't know where else you would listen to some buddy music, but
Yeah, that's unfortunate because we're all in a media bubble, right?
yeah,
And if we don't go out of that bubble, then we don't learn or anything. So fortunately for me, I've ended up being imported into Cape Breton because my wife was from Glace Bay, so that's why I learned about the culture of this region. So like same way if I lived on the west coast, I know you would have to be immersed in that cultural experience as well. So but we are fortunate that we can do that.
Yeah, exactly. You're in a great position there where you can get, the Gaelic culture there, and also the Acadian culture there on the Cheticamp side too.
Yep.
So they got their stuff too. Friday night hangout, kids. We're going to do a quick check on the comments there, Carrie. If you want to check on avoidingchores.com, and I'll check on the YouTube page, see if there's any comments there. And apologies to the few people who commented last time on the hangout, and I just wasn't seeing the comments. They weren't refreshing because I only had one computer. But tonight, I got two computers, and I'm refreshing the comments on the other screen. Carrie, do we have any comments on the Avoiding Chores website?
On the Avoiding Chores website, Moosefin, yeah. Okay, Bluefin. Bluefin. Oh, wait a minute. Bluefin says, the moose in Newfoundland are not native. They were brought in 1904 from Maine.
Really?
Their moose are surviving, which is not good for the drivers on the highway. And I got a good story about somebody hunting in moose in Newfoundland. We could do that later or now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Definitely the moose in Newfoundland, man. That's all you hear about moose and trying to get their fences back up there and such.
Yeah.
On here on YouTube, Roger GC Storm says here, good evening, fellas. I'm drinking my homebrew Cerveza tonight, trying to make room for his West Coast IPA. And good stuff.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, no, it's good. And a couple of weeks ago, Bluefin was visiting the mainland. We were able to meet with him in person down on the waterfront at Garrison Brewing. And who walks in? Nonchalant with Roger. So everybody had a nice little chat there for a few minutes. So it was good to have everybody together there. So that was really nice timing there. So that was awesome. And I'm just checking out the Twitter, and there's nothing on the Twitter. So we'll move on to the next topic, folks, which is, this is a good one here. The Nova Scotia government decided to ditch the VLT MyPass, which is the card system that you were able to access the VLTs, because they said that the gamblers weren't really using the features of the card, which was basically adding features to help addicted gamblers to show how much they were gambling away. And as they said, basically it was costing them millions of dollars a year, basically $21 million a year or $4 million a year, whatever it is, to do. And they said 99.9% of the people weren't using the features on the card, so they decided to kill it. So, Carrie, you're in Cape Breton. I assume just because VLTs are, well, no, you got the casino up in Sydney, so there's probably a good, same thing here down in Halifax with the casino. When you go in there, you see the people with those plastic cards around their arms, and they're playing 2-3 machines at a time. Apparently, these machines have PIN numbers and stuff like that. Was this just a waste of money trying to improve their image? The Atlantic Lotto Corp?
Probably. And people have that card, and sometimes they don't know exactly what it's for.
Mm.
And and they you know, like just like you get that thing on when you're installing software. Yeah, you read the user agreement, and then you go, yeah, okay, I'm going to do this, and that's the last you ever use it. So maybe that's where their mindset is. This is well, it's supposed to do something for me, but maybe maybe they just skip what they're doing, and then if the screen pops up on the VLT, I don't use it that often. I never have. I don't have one of them cards, so I don't gamble much. So it could be that they're just desensitized to it. They stick the card in so they can play, and then they play. So it's they're going to do it either way, or it's going to say, well, this is getting a pain in the ass, and then just
because the big issue here is that now there's two things. One, it was costing them a lot of money to maintain this card system, which apparently they were printing more of these cards than people in Nova Scotia. So obviously people were abusing the cards and all that stuff, trying to get around the system. The other thing too is that apparently revenue from the VLTs have been dropping almost by half since the card system has been put in place. So it seems like they're losing the casual gambler and only keeping the addicted ones. So, some are suggesting that they're dropping the cards so that to regain the casual gambler and try to up revenues. So, it's a kind of a sneaky way to say, hey, we're saving money because we're not wasting it on this card, but at the same time, they're just reintroducing addiction gambling back to
but that's what they should think of. They should think of how to redo the procedure, do the whole MyPass thing, and have some more positive feedback for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the casual gambler. So what? So I spend $30 a year gambling. Big deal. That's nothing to me. So then they can do their statistics and everything from it and say, okay, there's only a few people doing it. Well, which that's not too bad. We're still getting money. So maybe that's what they have to do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Atlantic Lotto does afterwards there. So, because lately, they've been doing a few things lately, trying to improve their image, and they want to get into online gambling and all that stuff. So, be interesting to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just
three stories. That's three stories that have a Cape Breton touch to them: Moose, McMaster's, and the gambling one, because right across from where I work, the TechLink software company has established a new building right across from where I work. So they're the ones who are instrumental in implementing that project.
Okay. There you go.
But they're a local company, but they are an international software business.
Right. Well, it's good to have the Cape Breton content here. Yeah, sometimes we don't mention Cape Breton enough there, but hey, good 3 stories there in a row. Hey, kids, it's the Friday Night Hangout. Just to let you know, we're having a brew, enjoying each other's company, and interacting online. We're going to be checking out the comments on thevotingshows.com or on Twitter or on YouTube momentarily. We'll do one more story, and then we'll get into that. Small panel tonight because it is August, and people they got vacation, they got stuff to do, they got plans. But we're all here enjoying the hangout anyway. We're going to move on to the next one here. This was a doozy here. All right, so a man in fatigues or camel pants with 3 assault rifles, which was later very accurate air gun replicas. He started walking through the woods, walking down a popular Halifax trail, not right behind the Canada Game Centre. Freaked out the police, so they started doing, because of Moncton and all that stuff. So they kind of shut down the area of the city, and Buddy just came out of the woods, surrendered quickly. Apparently, he was just going out to do some target practice with these air guns, replica air guns, which probably got him from the States. Doesn't have the safety coding to make sure that they are indeed air guns. And he got charged with a few charges, and got posted bail and stuff like that. So he's probably not going to end up doing any serious time here. But There's some people saying that the charges were a little bit too harsh, but then again, we didn't see any militarized vehicles come through Halifax to deal with this situation here. Not to say we don't have any militarized vehicles. We do have a response vehicle here in Halifax, but there's a guy who just decided that, he just needed to go shoot some BB pellets in the woods behind an urban center. Carrie, this is not a very bright idea from this individual.
No. I've seen a couple of them airsoft rifles, pistols, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them looked like a brand new Fabrique Nationale semi-automatic rifle.
Mm.
So, if that's, I mean, my wife's, or I guess my cousin's son from my wife's side, he showed it to me. I says, that looks real. It's like 29 inches long. It weighs the same weight, and there's no coloring on it or anything. And it has a magazine that fits exactly like. So it's
very deceiving for people who don't know.
Very deceiving, yes. And based on that situation from Moncton, I mean, this guy's a total. He either didn't watch the news, or he's living under a rock, because that would be the last thing I would do. I would not want to walk around with a rifle or pellet gun or BB gun out in a public area and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just imagining he's just carrying these things, and the muzzles are going up all this way. He's carrying them through the trail, very popular trail. Like, it was on the Mainland Commons Trail. If anybody who's been down to Halifax, the Canada Game Center, it is in not the most densely populated urban center, but there's a lot of people that are in that area walking. A very senior population, a lot of senior homes around there, a lot of retirement homes. So people, that was right in the middle of the day, like 9, 10 o'clock. So it was very odd. Like, you'd think at least he would have a bag to put them in, but even though he's not really supposed to go out to do that, there's fine air rifle shooting ranges around town that you could have gone to. So that's what I was thinking. Let's see. Let's do a quick check on comments. Carrie, let's check on avoidingchores.com, and I'll read out a comment here on YouTube, and then we can get to the comment there on Avoiding Chores if there are any. Roger's commenting here. He was saying earlier with meet with Bluefin, he said, yeah, it was awesome. We were able to all meet while it was town. Cool how it worked out. Indeed. And that was right after Beer Fest, too, so I remembered. Everything that happened, too. So it was a good time. Anything on Avoiding Chores?
Yep. Bluefin says, the Big Spruce Regatta Red is a very nice beer. He's glad that he found the store, even though there's only that little wee yellow road sign that says beer that way. and he also says, very poor timing for a guy to dress up like that with very authentic looking guns. What was he expecting?
Yeah, exactly.
Most air guns have the red tips. He seems like he was looking for trouble. Again, he's probably one of those guys looking for his 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Doing it the hard way.
Yep. All right, perfect. Let's move on to, well, since Todd's on it doing the Maritime Beer Report, I do have some beer news. The Ladies Beer League, they had a event during Sausage Fest, which is a celebration of actual meat products such as sausages and other barbecue goodness. Anyway, the Ladies Beer League, they sponsored an event along with Local Connections and I believe with Propeller earlier in the week. Sausage Fest is happening all week, and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So if you go to localconnectionshalifax.ca, you'll be able to see what's going on there. We did a few events last year. The one at Hatsinu was one of the highlights for sure. And also, if you're ever up in the valley, Sea Level Brewing, they currently have their blueberry beer, and also available here at Highland Wine and Spirits in Dartmouth. with real blueberry, and it does have a very blue tint when you pour the beer in the glass. Let's move on to the next topic here. Let's talk about those ALS Ice Bucket Challenge videos that we've been seeing all week. And I don't know about you, Carrie, and I don't know about you people watching online, but I'm starting to be pretty much fed up with these videos now that everybody's doing them. It's time for this to actually stop. And we can get on to more important things like, there was a journalist's head that got chopped off by ISIS earlier in the week. There's stuff happening in Ferguson. There's, stuff happening in the world, but we're spending, I think, a little too much time watching videos about ice buckets rather than dealing with all the stuff that we have going on here. Not that they're not interesting, but after a while, they're kind of like, I've had enough watching these things. Carrie, what do you think?
Saturated.
Yes.
Pardon the pun. But anyway, yeah, they are getting a little bit soggy. But if everybody is doing the donations, then it's working out.
Yes.
And I think that people are just doing the challenges just for the sake of the challenge. They're challenging their friends, but they're not actually going on with the spirit of the challenge. So that's what has to be.
Yeah, like it just seems now that at least to me, I feel like they're just starting to do. They're just doing the videos now because it's been out for like a week now, and you thought at least everything would peak during the first week, but now it's the reverse. It's kind of started slow. Now it's just started peaking. Now everybody and their dog is doing it. I think I saw Patrick Stewart doing it in his hotel room, and some of them are getting really elaborate in terms of production. The Foo Fighters had like a 4-minute video with Carrie. They had Cumberbatch there, Sherlock. He did a 2-minute thing where he just came getting doused, and people were trying to get more creative. And there was some people on Vine doing 6-second things. So after a while, just tune out. But as you said, Carrie, people are doing the donations, and they are getting quite a lot of donations this week. And I forget the number. I want to say 50 million was what's been donated this week. I may be mistaken, but I thought that was the number I saw. So.
Well, yeah, as long as people follow through with the spirit of the challenge, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. But
whether you post.
I just wouldn't mind that it's it kind of settles down this weekend so that we can move on to the other stuff. Nobody's been talking about the Nicki Minaj video this week. That's been out. That should be making headlines, but nobody's talking about that. So I'm just saying that very sarcastically, but
yeah.
But just after a while, it just needs a little. Has it had its time? I think has its time. All right, let's move on to the next topic here, which is big thing for fight fans. UFC is coming to Halifax for the very first time. Ultimate Fighting coming down. There's one local boy from Yarmouth. He's fighting somebody. Forget who it is. Carrie, have you been following UFC? It just seems like the last couple of years, the popularity seems to have dropped a little bit. Or am I just out of the loop?
Well, I never jumped in the loop, so I don't know. So I don't follow it. No.
Yeah, it just seems to me like I'm seeing. It seemed like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, you saw UFC everywhere. Just seems like lately, I'm not seeing a lot of stuff. But it's nice that it's come down to Halifax. At least we're getting, it'd be nice that we're a stop. I did see on Twitter a couple people that I follow. They were dropping some serious cash on seats, and the tickets are not cheap. Cheapest ones are around $50, and then most of them are around the $100 range, if not $200 range. So they're not cheap. But for those who are fans and, depending on the card, might be actually pretty cool event to go to. At least something different, because we definitely don't get too many of those type of shows. Then again, Yesterday we had a professional wrestling show in town. It wasn't the WWE caliber. It was a smaller promotion. So it happens that we get some stuff too.
Well, yeah, like we're getting Aerosmith next month, so yeah, you know.
Yeah, Aerosmith and Slash is coming to Cape Breton, so
Yeah.
you know that's a big thing.
That's a big thing, yeah.
It's huge. All right. Hopefully they won't get lost getting there. They might, they say, oh, we're going to Sydney, and they end up in Australia. No, the other Sydney.
Yeah. That's happened to a couple people before.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. All right, let's talk about Nova Scotia Power. Nova Scotia Power released their report about Hurricane Andrew and the outage that affected almost 250,000 customers, which is pretty much half of the province, really, when you come down to it. They blame the storm on a couple things. They blamed it on tree limbs, and they blamed it on the weatherman, which I find hilarious. Give you a little bit more detail here. Basically, they said that the weatherman that was providing them with the forecast was doing it wrong or had it wrong. So therefore, their models weren't as accurate as it should be. The other thing they said is that, you know what, a lot of the trees were hanging over the lines and stuff, so when the wind blew down the trees, it blew down the lines. So, you know, people gotta let us know when to cut the trees so that they don't touch the power lines. Carrie, this is hilarious that they're trying to push this back to people to let them know when they need to cut trees. It's plainly obvious for anybody who's driven past Nova Scotia that for a number of years, if anything, there has been no tree vegetation management on tree lines, and having limbs engulf power lines and having a hurricane force wind going through the valley, which haven't seen that type of wind in 30, 40 years. What do you expect would happen in June with a tree full of leaves and stuff? Stuff is going to hit the ground.
Well, I like weathermen as much as I like lawyers because they're both about the same. I mean, weather is not an exact science. The person that's forecasting can only predict what the computer models generate.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that they're just throwing it out there and blaming the weathermen, but it's not. They're doing the best that they can based on their predictions.
Exactly, and to be fair to that too, it's like, remember Richard Zorowski, the top weatherman in Nova Scotia, Richard Z. He was saying that it's like there was they had the line set up. They said, all right, this side of the line, it's all going to be wind, which was the Halifax, but the other side is going to be all rain. And then what happened? We didn't get nothing. No wind, a little bit of wind, no rain, and the valley side, Bay of Fundy, New Brunswick, got everything. So it's a big difference. Big difference.
Yeah. And the thing is like Cape Breton. We have a large island, and there's two different weather regions. You got the west side and the east side, and it's two different climates. And Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, or the Maritimes in general, have these microclimate zones that affect the weather a lot. And and you have a big storm like that changes rapidly. You can't predict it on the moment.
No, and and to remind people, the Annapolis Valley, that had the most damage here in Nova Scotia. Sustained winds over 130 kilometers an hour. That's well above 80 miles an hour, right? It was Category 1 winds, right? So
yeah.
In June, with trees full of leaves, stuff was going to happen.
And you go back to the trees. I mean, you can only dish out as much money trimming the trees around the power lines for every year. And if the budget runs a shortfall for these crews to do that, then unfortunately that's what happens.
Exactly. And since we're mostly rural, there's a lot of power lines that go through down for one person and stuff like that down a road for one house.
Yeah.
It makes it all makes sense, but they got caught. And got caught, and Nova Scotia Power, the one thing that they've continued to do badly is the communication, the PR people trying to get ahead of it. They just seems like they're setting themselves up. Every time they open for a cause, it's back to the whole salty fog. The reason why Transformer blew and half the city was without power because, salty fog. Or, what was it, the raccoon? Raccoon chewed a wire. What was it? It was another one. But anyway, that's it. While the city of Fredericton, who got the hardest hit of the hurricane, what was left of Hurricane Arthur, they're still picking up tree stumps. Carrie, did you see that on the news?
No, I haven't seen that, no.
They're still picking up. They're about halfway through the cleanup process. They still got another couple months of picking up tree limbs and stumps and everything. So Fredericton, Fredericton, Oromocto, Gagetown, they got hit hard. Very hit hard.
Yeah, and it's a major population center, so you're going to see it there more than anywhere.
Oh yeah, totally.
Going back to NB Power's perception or people's perception of NB Power, they have to do a better job telling people what is going on, because they had linemen. They had one line crew here left in Cape Breton, and all the rest of them went down to the mainland.
Right.
So that's where that's one of their problems is that they don't have enough line crew to do the whole province. And when they're shuffling people around like this here and
But like you were saying earlier, with the models that they had, they were just managing the resources where they thought it was going to be, which was South Shore, Halifax. That was the stretch where everything up until 8 hours before, that was going to be the most damage. So, but yet it was totally not there. So, all right, let's move on with some comments here. Carrie, get you to refresh the voting chores. People, if you're watching, you can comment via Twitter, via votingchores.com. We have the show page up, and also on YouTube. I'm going to check YouTube here quickly. Got Jason Spears. He's saying he's late, but we're happy to have him with us here. He's having a dab mailbach tonight. And I'm surprised he's not having a Big Spruce tip of the spear. I thought it would be nice if he had like a nice little supply of that downstairs. Be kind of nice. Hopefully it's pouring at Stillwell this weekend. I'll have him going tomorrow. Propeller Brewing, they're releasing their first lambic style beer, Framboise, at Stillwell, and I'm going to be down there trying that out for sure. So it'll be interesting to see. It's like, 3-4 years in the making. Propeller is getting out of their comfort zone. Carrie, is there anything on votingchores.com?
Nothing.
Mike must have opened up that Regatta Red and...
Yeah, he's enjoying it now, I think.
Yeah, he's enjoying it, and he's done. He's done for the night. All right, is there anything on Twitter? No, Boom Burger just favorited a tweet that I did a day ago. Boom Burger, for those who don't know, that's a franchise in PEI. They do burgers and fries, PEI potatoes, and they had a franchise in Charlottetown, and then they just opened up a location right here in Halifax. I was able to go to the location in Halifax earlier this week. I just had the burger. I didn't do the fries or the poutine yet, but the burger's not bad. Not the cheapest burger, but not bad at all. All right, let's do another refresh here on the YouTube. Just see, I saw something flash here. Oh, there we go. Jason mentioned here you got one of the last growlers of Tip of the Spears on Monday, but alas, it's all gone. Man, I'm not going to have any of that, by the sounds that's going down. Carrie, did you get Tip of the Spear?
No, I didn't get it. I only got I got a growler of Regatta Red and the mini growler of the Hoppuccino.
All right.
I guess that's what they call it, a Hoppuccino. But
yeah.
I can taste the coffee in it now.
Yeah? Okay, good. And I'm drinking the Garrison Imperial IPA, 8%. It's always good to have there. All right, let's move on to the next topic, which is Oh, this is a good one here. All right, so last couple of weeks, people have been pouring over the Auditor General reports. They're doing so. The provincial government does addendums, and they basically, essentially they publish a document that lists all the civil servants' salaries, and all the news media pour over these things and a few other department numbers and stuff like that, trying to find a story. And usually, we get once in a while, how much does so-and-so make? So Frank Magazine had their top money makers for each department. So it was kind of funny. Because I buy Frank Magazine quite a bit. And I said, oh, hey, boss, you made the magazine. You make this much per year type of deal. So, but the one thing that came out, and the story that I linked here on the show page mentioned a nurse, but there's also a TIR equipment operator that falls under the same thing. So this nurse and this equipment operator was able to log a lot of overtime and whatever else was available. The nurse here, and I believe the nurse was in Cape Breton, she pulled over $200,000 in salary last year. She made more than the CEO of the health board by like $20,000 or $40,000. It was this insane number. And the equipment operator, who should be making around $49,000 a year, he was pulling in last year a little over $180,000. So for the equipment operator, he would have needed to work at least 13 to 15 hours a day every day of the year in order to pull that overtime here. So this nurse here was, this registered nurse made $257,000, more than the CEO, who made only $227,000 for the same period. That's crazy. Carrie, how do we get this overtime? We need to get some of this too.
Well, yeah. That's a really good story, because when it showed up on Facebook, I just commented, well, at least she worked for her pay.
That's the one thing in Nova Scotia. The nurses work for their money.
She's putting in the time, and she's working. Not like some of them who will not accept any overtime or not accept any other shifts beyond what they've already done. But my heart goes out to her, because she loves her job and she loves her patients. So that's one good thing.
And the story says she was from Cape Breton too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another Cape Breton story, Carrie.
Oh, wow. Hey.
That's like almost a Cape Breton-centric show tonight.
Yeah.
Look, it's Cape Breton, shorter numbers, and it's like, can you stay another shift? Hey, if she doesn't have any commitments at home and she's young and
it doesn't matter if she's what age she is. If she's going to pull another shift when nobody's going to fill in, then good for her. I mean, she's the one who's going to end up either paying taxes or getting too exhausted at the end of the year. But anyway, she did it.
Well, the other thing too, it just shows that if she has to pull that much overtime, maybe they need to add some staffing to it. Maybe staffing problems, right? So last thing that I want is an overtired nurse that's going to be jabbing needles in my arm when I need to take a blood test or something like that, right?
Yeah, but I mean, she must be in a good job where she can continue working those hours.
Yeah. No.
And likewise for the
equipment operator.
The equipment operator. I mean, there are people that are that have been retired and that are working extra hours in the winter, extra hours in the summer. So whether somebody's double dipping there, that could be one of the problems.
Yeah, that could be an issue too. Yeah, the whole bunch of them. Now, unfortunately, in being a civil servant myself there, we don't know the exact details and stuff, right, in terms of all that stuff. You don't know until you have to get down to the weeds and the actual manager to say, oh yeah, because it's due to this and that. So, All right, a couple comments here on the YouTube. We got Jason Spears from Port Hawkesbury, another Cape Bretoner. Says here, overtime, all about seniority and working like a dog. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Carrie, anything on avoidingchores.com?
Yeah, we got one from Bluefin, our devout follower on avoidingchores.com.
From Newfoundland.
He says the Regatta Red is going well, I guess. I guess. Well, he's guessing.
I guess pretty good.
Said, yeah, I guess it was the only selection available there yesterday. Yeah.
I tell you, man. Well, you know what? Jason helped Big Spruce do their tip of the spear brew, and they just finished the third round of expansion there. So, you know, it's pretty crazy how much they're selling. They're selling beer like crazy. So.
Yeah, he also says that nurses deserve every penny that they make. They do a very hard job, and he is 100% correct there.
Yep.
As for Big Spruce, I noticed on their Facebook page that they ran out of beer in the brewery this evening. They closed early. They closed at 5 p.m. and they only had enough to take to the market for tomorrow.
Oh, jeez. And they're going to sell out within like a half hour, too. So.
Yeah, that's why I got mine.
That's a terrible problem to have. You can barely keep your product on the shelves. So, all right, good for Jeremy and crew down there. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we're wrapping up the show slowly here. It's a quick show tonight. We have a small panel where we got some good engagement from the viewers here. Just got a couple of words here to talk about. A few of our friends here. Delore Minreach. I'll mention this quickly. Did a couple videos on YouTube here on the InReach. I did the geocaching video, how you can use this for geocaching, and also how to do how to find your position on the map, because this doesn't have a map, so you can use your GPS position that's displayed and find your position on the map. Always good stuff. And you can also Carrie. I was looking at kayaks today. I was looking at sit on top kayaks from Old Town Canoe. Or kayak. They're starting to do more kayaks now. Trail Shop. They had their sale yesterday, and I believe they had the kayak that I was looking at today, and I'm sure they had it on sale, and I missed my opportunity, Carrie. Which, really, I don't feel bad, because since our little one started daycare this month, my dreams will evaporate at every paycheck, because all my money is going to daycare fees. So that's a darn shame. But yeah, I was looking at the Old Town Predator XL MD. There's 3 models. Anyway, it looks pretty nice. I do like the seat. It's more of a fishing boat, so the seat, it's 3 positions on the seat. One of them you can be nice and low on the sit on top kayak, and then you can raise the seat up to be up high to do your standard fishing kind of position there. Has lots of storage and stuff like that. So I kind of like the looks of that. So people who want to Google kayaks or sit on top kayaks, I was looking at the that Old Town Predator series. And finally, Picaroons in Fredericton. They're co-hosting a tap takeover here at with Petit Sue from Edmundston, and there's a band playing, which I forget the name. So they're at one of the bars there up in Edmundston or Fredericton, one of the two. I can't remember from the tweet, but a lot of stuff happening in New Brunswick in terms of the beer. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yep. And the government, the NB government, relaxed their ruling on the quantity, so that was good for them.
Yes, and I forgot to include that in the show notes. Indeed. Yes, so last time that we talked about the New Brunswick Government or Liquor Board, they put on this fake restriction, which basically kind of ruled out everybody, all the small microbreweries in New Brunswick that were opening up because they were opening up really small. So now they kind of bowed to public pressure there, so which is pretty good. So it sounds like everybody's kind of happy with that. But what was our story here, Carrie? Oh, yes. Arizona judge charged with
Oh,
smuggling goods into Canada. This was the story that me and Carrie was reading to Carrie before we started the show. This is a guy who crossed over to Canada with two handguns, two 22 caliber handguns, and we were just thinking, oh, he probably had it in his truck, forgot to say, oh yeah, I have guns in my glove box. But then we start reading the article. Then this judge here is like got caught stealing speakers from Walmart and such. So I was like, well, this judge doesn't seem to be a good guy, but he had to leave his job there. So anyway, one of the crazier stories we saw on the Twitter this evening.
We'll probably see that one on border crossing.
Oh yeah, and the New Brunswick election is underway.
Oh yeah, good. They have a real good I don't know what you call it, plot or whatever. What do they call it? The pitch to redo it. Say yes to fracking.
Oh yeah. Well, this is hilarious. So the New Brunswick Conservatives, they pulled out of the television debates because the English debate was including all the smaller parties, and they only wanted to talk with the Liberals and NDP, and they just took they said no, we're not going to do it. So, but is there any surprise that the Conservatives are going to get washed out in the next election? I don't think it'll surprise anybody. I think they're just trying to delay things as much as possible. You got a couple of smaller independent parties in New Brunswick. I think today the Liberals, New Brunswick Liberals, are starting to do their promises and campaigns and all that stuff. It'll be very interesting to see what happens next, Carrie, because you and I, we both have some people, some family in New Brunswick. There's some in Gagetown and my folks up in Edmonton there. So it'll be very interesting to see how things work in New Brunswick, and what's going to happen with the fracking. Because really, at the end of the day, fracking for New Brunswick, in terms of trying to find that that magic bullet that some provinces are having, like gas, like Alberta and Nova Scotia, are they going to go for it, or are they going to find something else? Because New Brunswick's not doing very well in terms of money-wise. Like they're not doing good at all, and they got pension problems and all sorts of stuff. So.
Yeah, but if you seen the commercials where they say yes to fracking and everything else like that, they're putting that referendum out based on what people are going to vote. If you say that, then that's going to be like a referendum for them, and it's going to be yes or no.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are going to say no.
Yeah. It'll be interesting.
I mean, all the governments in the U.S., all the state governments say yeah, it's okay, because they're the ones who are making the rules. I mean, if the government's making the rules and the people aren't, then.
And I mentioned this in the previous hangout. What they should have done in New Brunswick is that they look on the map of New Brunswick, they point in the very middle of New Brunswick, and they say to whatever company, I forget who the company is, Shell, Exxon, whoever it is that they want to do the fracking, you're going to dig there. It's like, well, it's kind of far, there's no roads. Exactly. Go in there, nobody's going to see you. Get your gas that way, because you ain't going to do it off the Trans-Canada Highway or off of across the road from Kuchibouguac National Park, which I think it's kind of in that area that we're going to start exploring and stuff like that. So they should have done in the middle of the province where there's nothing going on there, where they've already done some mining and stuff like that. That's my personal opinion, and I think it would be a little bit different story. Jason here commented on YouTube here. He said, we missed another great Cape Breton story, Kerry. Local, well, I missed it, but I did read the story, Jason. The local bar owner by Mayor Billy Joe McLean got his hand slapped over several violations with strippers. They had their liquor license suspended for 2 days, I guess, had everything but the farm animals in there. So yeah, so this bar apparently brings in strippers a couple times a year, and I guess 4 guys were getting lap dances. It was too close to the family tables as they were trying to, cut their steak. So yeah, well, I made a bookmark of that to maybe drop by a little bit later. See next time they. Well, it was so funny. I remember when I was living in Ottawa, I used to go to this bar called Grace O'Malley's. That was the bar I used to go to in Ottawa. There's a couple of them now, but there was only one in Ottawa off Merivale Road. Used to go there quite a lot. And there was a guy at the bar, and he was a talker there. I don't know what he was doing. He's had all these stories about Wayne Gretzky and stuff like that. But anyway, he said, you should go to this website. So what website is this? It's this review board of all escorts in the town and stuff like that. So, and stripper tourings, and which clubs are going, and all this stuff. So, forget what the website he was talking about there, because that was like 12, 13 years ago, at the dawn of the internet. So you can just imagine what kind of websites these were back in the day there. But yeah, how does that happen in Port Hawkesbury? It's like, yeah, stripper, you can stop here for a couple days and stuff.
They're doing the tour from Newfoundland all the way around. So
all the way around?
I don't know. That's the one place that they had, the Gentleman's Club in Fredericton, got shut down and burned down and destroyed, whatever. So that was, and I never made it in there. So
no.
The ones in Moncton got shut down real fast. So.
Oh yeah, and they definitely weren't set up in Fredericton when I was in there either. So no. All right, let's see. There's no other comment on YouTube. Is there a comment on the voting chores there, Carrie?
No.
No.
No, nothing.
No. So we're pretty much all done. I'm just checking Twitter quickly. No, that is about it. So with that, I think this is a good time to end things for this hangout tonight. I think it was a pretty good hangout. Carrie did a great job there with the stories here. Great comments from the people watching, from Jason and Mike and Roger and everybody else who's watching, because I do see there's a few of you watching tonight there. So thank you for watching. I think we're going to do another 2-week break to finish off the summer. And then we'll do the next hangout in 2 weeks. And then I think we're going to resume, because we're going to be in September, resume the September weekly schedule. Put down in the comments what you think about the 2-week schedule. If you do want to continue that in the fall or not, or the weekly, let me know. And we can work around that. We can also work around I guess the timing of the show or whatever. The podcast, for people who are listening to the podcast, I do know there's a bunch that are listening to the podcast version. Let me know what you think of the podcast. Let me know if the timing of the podcast is good, if there's any changes for that. Let me know. Carrie, you got anything to plug before we go away?
I like Big Spruce's Little Growlers.
But do they have a name for that? Squealers or?
I don't know what they call them.
Oh. They're cute.
But anyway.
Nice to smell.
Yeah, I like that Big Spruce beer. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, hey, you ever find any people around locally that are growing hops that don't know they grow hops?
There are probably a few that has like one plant from when they bought a house from somebody and they don't know what they have. They thought they're thinking it's grapevines, but it's hops. But I might know one too, but it's not like somebody has a whole field of hops there that they don't.
Yeah, but there's one place near me, and my son has his girlfriend's grandmother that has a plant there and everything else. So I'm going to do some experimenting. Grab some and make some flavors.
Oh yeah, no, just do that. Nothing. Unfortunately, I tried one plant here in the backyard, and it did not do very well. The grapevines that I mowed down to make room for the hop plant they took over, and they're doing good, but not the hop. So my hop dreams are dashed. But that's okay. I got plans for this backyard. I need to do something with this. So anyway. All right, with that, folks, we're going to cap off for the evening. Thank you again, Carrie, for joining me, and for us to join you, the people watching, and it's all good. And Jason mentioned here, resume the weekly schedule once summer's over. So, yep.
Yeah, and Bluepin says, great show tonight. As always, when does the regular weekly schedule start? He says, can't wait to go to bed tonight. the mini growler is empty, and his 900-kilometer drive across the province has been beat. So anyway.
All right.
Perfect for you.
All right. So I guess the people have spoken. We're going to resume weekly hangouts after the next 2-week break. So we're going to take 2 weeks off, get into September, and then once we do that, we're going to start back with the weekly schedule, which would be the next hangout will be on September the 5th. I believe that's a long weekend. So starting September 5th, we'll resume weekly hangouts, which will be four hangouts in September. So there you go, people. Done. Easy. Just like that. Perfect. Carrie, anything to plug?
Nope, done.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
See ya.
And we'll talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.